Looks like the YouTube is a little slow, but it's opening up. And we are officially live on YouTube. And we're gonna let all our attendees in, start the webinar now. Okay, we're right on time. I think we'll give everybody a minute or so, let everybody trickle in. So we should have hopefully a very informative session. We extended it this time to 45 minutes. There are no PowerPoints here. We're going to dive right into a live demo environment. Just waiting for all the attendees to come in, and we're going to give probably another 30 seconds and we can start. Just would like to thank you for joining us this afternoon. For those of you joining us live and for those of you joining us on YouTube, there's been a lot of buzz around, end of life of Microsoft Project Online, that it's going to be sunsetted. No worries. It's not, you don't need to run, to the store and start buying new licenses. It's still alive and well. It's supported. It's patched with all the security patches. So there is no official end of life date, but it doesn't mean that you should not be getting ready and looking into Horizon. And as you're building your roadmaps, looking at the solutions that are out there. And one of those solutions is Power PPM. It's a solution built on Microsoft Power Platform and Dataverse that we've been deploying for a number of years. Great feature set. And as you're going to see that there's certainly no lack of features versus Microsoft Project. I think you're going to find that it has additional functionality. And you're certainly not going to lose your investment in MSPO because there are very efficient migration paths over, and you can continue using your Power BI reporting if that's what you have installed. Anyway, without further ado, just as a quick reminder, if you're on YouTube, like us. If you're not, please subscribe to the channel. This particular webinar will be available for a replay, and so this full list, we have over 100 videos on YouTube, so feel free to browse and replay. And I will also in chat leave our contact information if you'd like to have a personalized demo scheduled based on your specific use case. You can definitely reach out to us. So again, don't want to stand between you and the demo. Here's Alex, and Alex, it's all yours.
Thanks, Yuri. Thanks, everybody for stopping by. We're very excited to show it to you, to discuss and talk about the what's new out there. Obviously, Project Online is, there's this big topic about, it's going to be transformed within Microsoft into something else. Recently has been announced that a lot of planner and planner stuff is going to be baked into, with the project for the web. There's a lot of Microsoft stuff that is going on. What you're going to see today is also Microsoft stuff. Think about it, because it's all, it's all based on the Microsoft Power Platform, right? So that's kind of all bits and pieces of Microsoft, and Microsoft likes to create all kinds of different apps for all kinds of different reasons. But what we have come up with partners out there, this Power PPM solution is great. Evolution or great next step from Project Online, especially when you're considering Project Online, to go away or fade away, maybe sometime in the future. That's very good way to stay within Microsoft, kind of follow the big brother Microsoft, if you are willing to follow, and take advantage of the Power Platform, which is great, which has been developed, evolved quite a bit, Parts of it you're gonna have you'll see the Power Apps, the Power BI, Power Automate, and things like that. So I'm going to show you today Power PPM solution where we have, you can kind of already see on the screen. Do you see my screen? Quick check. You read? Yeah.
Sorry. Yes, I do. It's on.
Okay. Okay. Great. So as you see on the screen, there's all kinds of modules that we have here, and the one thing to mention is that instead of calling it project portfolio management, call it strategic portfolio management, right? So this is where we kind of leaning towards, understanding what is it our project slash initiatives, right? We kind of rebranding this a little bit, so not calling it projects, calling it initiatives, and the alignment to the strategy. This is very much the theme of the solution, to understand how and what is the impact of projects and initiatives that we're undertaking. They take on the strategy of the company. So I'm going to expand this a little bit here. So this is a data-driven Power App solution. We have all kinds of modules. We're going to go through the modules. The sections are reporting section, the work section, and the roadmap section. Quickly going through the reporting section. It's a lot to show. I won't be able to show everything from the reporting perspective, but I do want to show you the amounts of reports that is out there. That we can have all sorts of reports coming out. In this case, portfolio and strategy, some of the strategic alignment by the different categories of projects forecast tracker, so you can look at the priorities, the budgets, the actuals, and things like that. There's a strategic views, the bubble chart with the strategic views, giving you like the benefits versus those strategic the OKRs that we actually mentioned here down there. Organizational key results, whole nother demo about that. But you can by looking at just one out of 11 different reports, how many different kind of reports we have, right? Portfolio dashboard. So we can look at the portfolio specifically. If we slice our portfolio projects into portfolios, programs, and initiatives. So this is the portfolio level of reporting, and analytics that we can look at. So there's all kinds of additional reports, and I don't know. As I said, I won't be able to go through all of them, but there is enough for anyone's taste or ability to consume all this information, financial information, schedule information, change management information, risks and issues information. So all kinds of processes that are there, you can find here. Okay. These are the dashboards, kind of one pane of glass, one view for everything. There's all kinds of sets of reports in addition to that, which is another package of Power BI reports based on the Power Hub. This is more of the analytical way of looking at things. So some of these are repetitive, but there's another section with some other standard reports. I mean, I don't want to get into like which reports are for what. Different ways to display this, and you can see how I can differently, go through. I can go through different reports very quickly. Anyway, and you'll see some of these reports within actual initiatives, which is another cool thing to show. So I would quickly step into the work section, and the first section here would be the simulation, and this is where we would say I'm going to pick my simulation. This is, let's say I am trying to plan my 2024 book of work, right? My 2024 portfolio of projects, and I can do this within one portfolio. I can do this across many portfolios or programs. So I can do this either like within my limited team of projects that I'm managing within my team, or I can do this expand it all the way up to the organizational top levels. But within that section, I can bring up the financials. I can say, what is it my budget and versus what is it my expected expense, right? I can look at and say, well, in 2024, we're estimating $7,400,000 to be spent, but then my budget is $7 million, right? So I can start maybe pushing some of these items. I can start pushing some of these items out in order to see whether this would have an impact. Whether this would have an impact on my portfolio. Not every single project here has a budget associated with it. So I'm just gonna find that one. Where's that one project that has an impact? Basically, what I'm trying to show you is that I would have a immediate impact on these numbers, and I can see how my budgets are playing if I just move these things around. And if I move these things around, you can see that the dates are also moving, right? If I move these things around, you can see the dates are moving, and I can save the changes. So that scenario planning has actual effect on actual project initiatives. So that's pretty cool feature out there where we can do some of the planning. This is one of the many different ways to help with planning exercise. I'm going to get to the portfolio section here. So portfolios would basically represent the collection of projects, and I have all kinds of portfolios here. You can see how many initiatives per initiatives are included in this one portfolio. There's one big grow portfolio that has kind of quite a bit of projects already in it, and I can quickly get to the some of the information about this portfolio. I can have owner of this portfolio, which is in this case not just a simple lookup, right? So if I look at right, the person, this is a reach, a reach connected to the Office 365 type of a lookup, right? You see the person online, you can chat with the person. Or if I pick somebody, this person, I can quickly get to see more about this person here. The description, the link to a calendar year, portfolio type, and all kinds of information that I can put into this portfolio. This is very basic metadata that you can think of, but you can see it all the other menus. We're going to go through all these menus really quick. As far as report, I can quickly get to a specific portfolio report within my portfolio, right? I don't have to go and jump into different reports. I can look at the consolidated reporting information right within this portfolio. The roadmap, I can use and build a roadmap for this portfolio. That is part of the program management. We're going to go through the part of the product management, which we're going to touch a little bit more when we talk about the products here. So we'll talk about products here, but here's within my portfolio, I can build my roadmap, and I can add or remove. I can look at how is my roadmap is looking like within my portfolio. The selected initiatives that are participating within my portfolio. So I'm using only 30 of them. There's a whole big list of this projects or initiatives within this portfolio. So now the ranking is pretty interesting feature here. So if I need to quickly rank projects within my portfolio, and I'm planning or I'm trying to, I'm managing this portfolio of 30 projects here, and they're all unranked, right? And I can go through ranking either manually, or I can just simply drop them into one of these quadrants. And you can manage which quadrants you want to have. And these quadrants right now, somewhat based on the Magic Quadrant, where you have these areas where they're more preferable than others. So say lower right quadrant, say, do later. Lower left quadrant, say, do not do at all. The upper left is do next, and the most favorable is do now. Right. As soon as you drop something into the do now, that's B station A becomes, at a higher ranking, right? So you can quickly, bring the stuff in here. You can bring your team over, and you can have this quick discussion with whoever you need to discuss it with, and quickly get to the ranking exercise within your portfolio.
Alex, sorry for the interruption. I wanted to address some of the questions as they come up. Since this is built on the Power Platform, the question is, can any of these fields be customized and additional metadata created if need be? And obviously the same for Power BI reports. So can those be customized?
Yes, absolutely yes. And we're the ones who we're working on implementation practices and help you to understand what configuration options are. Basically, everything I'm showing to you, including the wording, the number. This is a 2x2 2x2 quadrant, but you can have 3x3, 3x6. You can have different options. You can call them differently, yeah, you can definitely customize the existing metadata and have this customization be part of the Power BI reports. All right, so the prioritization is kind of similar concept. You'd be able to also come up with different parameters at which you'd want to prioritize this. So say your portfolio want to have different sub buckets, right? And you have a high priority bucket, low priority bucket, medium priority bucket. So and they can just simply move this around, right? And not just in anywhere in this bucket, but even if you push this on top, this is automatically increasing the ranking. So not just the position within the bucket is important, but also the position within the bucket. The higher the position is, the better ranking it becomes. So, and also, so if say this project is budgeted for $8 million, as soon as I add this to here, this would automatically also change this numbers on top. So you know that for higher priority projects or initiatives, you have a certain amount of budgets. You can play with this very quickly and see the results of that math that you can do. And also, not to mention, you can do this by you can call these buckets different ways. You can make it by health, by key results, and make these buckets completely custom, if you like. So but that's just another way to use the Kanban methodology for prioritization within that portfolio. Okay. Scenarios. So this is where we can actually look into those scenarios. So those simulations that we just talked about when we're having 2024 plans in place. So we can kind of dive into this right from here. We can look which programs are participating within this portfolio. Okay. Obviously, get into the risks analysis and have specific risks that are rolled up from within those projects that we have created, that we have included in this portfolio. So all those risks from all these projects that would roll up to this portfolio level. So you can do your risk management basically at the program or portfolio level without driving into each individual projects, and that kind of giving you a little bit more power as far as portfolio management. And you can quickly get, say, okay, this is the high probability, high impact. You can click on that and see those 4 risks right there, and see what they are, see who managed them, and you can kind of take action based on this information. All right, and a quick dashboard. This is really real-time, kind of quick kind of summary dashboards that you can come up with. So as soon as you make any change anywhere in this portfolio or initiative, you get immediate results over here. So which is also nice to have an option to report on this real time. All right, so that is part where we talked about reports, we talked about simulation a little bit, we talked about portfolios, programs. If you go to programs, this is very, very similar to portfolios, maybe one level down before we start talking about initiatives, where we're actually going to spend a little bit more time, which is actual projects / initiatives, also known as initiatives. And here we can look at the programs. We can look at those specific projects right here without diving into it too much. So this is kind of a nice way to see which projects are contributing to any of these portfolios. So this one has 9 projects. This Capital Works program is a big one, and it has 22 projects. So there's a lot to scroll here. So that's kind of a nice way to look at that. You can look at the overall program progress. If you're managing, portfolio of projects split by groups, this is a good way to kind of get the sense and get the visibility of what's going on within your programs. So if we dive into one of these programs, and one of the coolest features that I believe is here is the timeline. So if I look at the timeline, in this case would represent the roll up of all those projects that are sitting underneath. If I go and say, give me, so this is my entire program that consists of 22 projects. So these are these 22 projects, and I'm just going to collapse them, one by one. But you can see these 22 projects are basically represented here on my Gantt chart as one big timeline Gantt chart, right? So I can see all my timelines within one place. More so, I can actually even add tasks to my projects right from this program view. I don't have to dive into a specific project to create a task within that specific project to be able to show that on this overall timeline, right? Program timeline. I can do all my changes right here and then within my one program. I think for the program manager, this is very, very efficient, very, very powerful. I can
Alex, actually, one other question came up. Can you create cross-project and cross-program dependencies?
This is where I'm coming. Okay. In about a couple of menus, I'm going to be right there. There, the same type of roll-up like we had for timeline for tasks. The same thing that would apply for financials. So all the financials that are coming from each individual project, and I can scroll all those 22 projects here. So this is maybe overkill for maybe too many details in one place, but I can really expand those levels, capex and opex, and see all those details that I need to see without leaving my program view. So that for the program manager, that makes it really, really powerful. All kinds of features as far as financial, whole another demo about about these financials and actuals and budgets and scenarios and all kinds of things that we can do within the financials. So and here finally, but you can actually see those 22 projects that are participating in this program. Here we can see all the risks the same way as we saw those risks coming up for the portfolio, the same roll up from those projects coming up here, and you can see certain risky, certain higher risk, higher impact, higher probability risks by looking at and clicking on that risk matrix. So then final dependencies. So as far as dependencies, we have dependencies. So we can either dependency, you can either have one program driving another, and then in this case, one for this program. If this program is driving some other program, then that would be this program depends on. It means that you are receiving an impact from somebody else. So either or, we can set this up. It's better for me to show this as on a project, on an initiative. This is more like it's easier to show and easier to explain. And I'll show it this exact scenario when we talk about when we look into initiatives. I promise. Quickly just run down and finish the programs. We look at the stakeholders. This is where you can, put all your stakeholders, internal, external, and kind of know, who are the people we're communicating this project to. And again, quickly, we can get into the dashboards just like we did in the portfolios. So as far as the programs, this is probably everything that I wanted to show. And finally, let's talk about the initiatives, right? So the initiatives is our traditional projects, right? In Project Online, this is Project Center, right? In Project Center, if you look at the future of the Project Center, if you will, this may look like this, right? That's basically a list of all the projects, and you can have all kinds of different views, right, within that Project Center. And here we can look at all kinds of tables. We can look at all kinds of metadata and things like that. So very, very similar to what we used to see as far as list of projects. And here we can create. I'm going to create a new project here as part of this demo. So I'm going to say build a water pumping station. And I know some folks may find this naming convention somewhat familiar, but I'm going to leave it at that. So we're going to call this a project. I'm going to save this for now. This would kick in all kinds of things in the background. But as you can see, we have all kinds of tabs, including the dependencies, and I'm going to go through dependencies separately. As part of this project, and you can see that we have a lot of things to fill. And in this detail page, we have very specific and very basic metadata. We have some description. I don't have to fill this out. I'm just gonna go through this. You can look at the you can fill out the status of the project. Again, all of this is customizable, right? And I should say configurable. You can add your own metadata, as much metadata as you like. You can come up with a sponsor. So this is a lookup into the Active Directory. So this is going to look into the Active Directory and pick the where you can find in there. Linked ideas. So we have a section where we have collect all the ideas. If this project is created based on a certain idea, you can link that idea with that. This is where you can set up the priority. Remember, either by doing it high, medium, low on the portfolio side, or you can just set the rating right here. The ranking also can be set here. We can pick up an expected start date. We can pick expected finish date. We just pick the priority, which is high priority. And let's say this is a ranking number 50. Here we would say the budget, right? The budget may come up as a result of our financials here, or we go to expected benefits, so we can say this is expecting to bring, I should say 4 million euros. So all kinds of metadata. There's some fields that are locked, some fields that are mandatory, some fields that are read only, things like that. This is all configurable, and it can help you to understand how to go about it. There's strategic impact. There's a relevance to how are we linking to the strategy, how impactful it is for the strategy. This is where we can link this to a specific portfolio. Say we're going to link this to a grow portfolio. This is where we can link it to a program. This is where we can link it to a strategy, to which strategy we're adding this initiative to, the category. You can always click on this and get more, big bets or different. Anyway, this is like the way you slice and dice your portfolio. I'm sure all of you have all kinds of specific things that you want to bring out here. This is the breakup of the departments. And this is where we can automatically kick off the creation of the team. So the team channel and SharePoint site will be created specifically for this project. So you can kick off this process. We're not gonna kick this process off. Actually, we will kick this process off, no problem. And you can add some kind of checklist. So I'm gonna save this, and I'm gonna move up to the timeline. So the timeline would be our schedule. And if we start a new project, and if we start a new schedule, this is going to give us some options, some templates, right? We may want to say we already have 5, 6, 7 different schedule templates, and this is very, very similar the way we're doing it in Project Online. We have different schedule templates, and some of these templates are thousands of lines. Some of these templates are tens of lines, or five lines. So some simple, some not so much. So you choose which template you want to choose. You may, each of these items would have, you can even look into a specific, oh, this template, will work for me, or this template will work for me. And you can have all kinds of additional templates you can choose with. And you can also do this with the AI. And I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of how will that look if we were to say create tasks for building a water pump station in New Jersey for a change. And now this is going to go through the Azure AI service, which is also isolated from outside internet or anything like that, deployed to the Azure, and that would come up with a schedule, right? And we already have site preparation, excavation, foundation, construction of pump house, right? And this is not it. This is just the beginning and testing, commissioning, all kinds of things that we can that AI just came up. Again, you may opt out to use it. You may opt out not to use it. I'm just giving you some options to consider that you can actually do that, or you can pick it up from the actual template, right? Where you would already lay out exact tasks, for that template, and those tasks would be used to come up to bring the tasks.
Sorry for the interruption, but 2 relevant questions to where you are. First question is, can we use a project for the web as our scheduler
Yes.
instead of the templates?
Yeah, so when I clicked on the timeline, what you see loaded here is a Power PPM custom component to manage tasks and things like that. If you choose to use the project for the web, you can use project for the web as far as your task management systems.
And the second question is in QA. If you can address that one. Mm-hmm. Did you see it?
Sorry. Let me see. On QA, okay. If moving the dates of projects impact the resources scheduled for another time, does that register as a risk in the registry? So the risk registry is not creating risks automatically. you would have to kind of run through those reports, or heat maps where it's red becoming red when you cross, and you move stuff, and work piles up for a single or a group of resources. Then you would have a heat map going red and say, hey, you're over allocating. That would be the way to create risks. But risks are not created automatically. However, if I jump through a couple of sections here into risks for a second, since we're on the AI topic here, I can say create risks for building a water pumping station, right? And this would look at the we can actually tune this up to use a specific reference documentation as far as some codes, maybe some special documents where we can reference, and then use the content of this risks that we have just created, to use that documentation, to use the content to kind of teach the AI a little bit more about our subject, about our specific institutional knowledge that we have, to have these risks even more relevant to our initiatives that we're working on. Okay, but those are already, labor shortages, regulatory compliance, budget overruns, construction delays. I mean, these are pretty generic, but it's like a whole, second page: power outage, equipment failure, land acquisition issue, natural disasters. Maybe this is too much. Water contamination, probably very relevant to this specific project. Vandalism or theft. Maybe that's the case too. But it gives you a boost into identification of these risks, right? You may just remove half of them, but that gives you a good starting point to get into the risk management. All right, we skip the financials. I'm going to go to financials real quick. In the financials, we have certain standard categories that we taken care of. So these are APEX and CAPEX, right? Capital expenses, operational expenses, and we can break it down into the different categories. And all of these categories are configurable. I forecast the question, and as you can see, we can work very closely with all kinds of ERP financial systems. And sometimes we have actuals coming from one side, forecasts coming from this side, so we can kind of make it all work together and see the estimates to complete as we go through the year a little bit more precise, when we would overwrite the forecasts in the past with actuals that came from financial systems. All kinds of options here are very much possible. Very powerful financial forecasting module here. And don't forget that this initiative would roll up to a program and or to a portfolio, right? And you can look at the rolled up numbers and manage the same exact actuals, forecasts, variances within one initiative, and then program and or portfolio. Resources, I'm gonna skip this resource concept here for a second. One item that I'd like to do here is to show you one other very cool thing. If I'm in the site preparation and I need someone to work on it, I would assign, I'll just say this Alex here with a different last name here. I'm going to assign this person to work 40 hours on this task, which does what? Which creates, the assignment, right? And if I assign, the same person to work on this task in parallel, and say I want to assign another 40, let's say 400 hours, why not? So I would create the over allocations. I can see I can see exactly, and if I can move this around, move this away, I can rebalance the workload on that resource within my project. This is extremely powerful when you're trying to balance the work within your team and trying to understand maybe you need to stretch the task a little bit longer, so to avoid that over allocation. So this is where you can really visibly, without going too much through the spreadsheet, macros or whatnot, to figure this out. Or in Project Online, frankly, this is fairly cumbersome to manage this level of granularity when you assign people to those tasks. So that's something to consider. So we're going through the financials, right? And you can simply just add numbers, and then they roll up to the month, January here, and then totals here. Everything works out and adds up. So these are the resources, the risks. We went through risks. The stakeholders, you just book your have the list of the stakeholders, helps you to manage who is who, especially when you hand over projects from one project manager to another, and you have a lot of people to understand who is who, as far as who needs to make a decision, especially during the project. Very interesting feature here, which is a KPI status. And here where we can say we would want to run our weekly report. Say I'm running my weekly status report, and say this is the status report as of today, right? And I say this is my. You can configure which which status category it is. So this is my bi-weekly status report. You can add some comments, and within these comments, I can basically say I'm on budget, scope is okay, the schedule is a little bit at risk, and resources are available, quality is good, save and close, right? I can save this and close, and that records, the date, right? And the status of my project, of my initiative, or as of that date. Or let's say I'm going next week, right? I'm creating a new status report. Once I create a new status report, let's just say I'm next week, right? I'm just giving you an example how you can see and how you can get into the status in here. But you see this, the section says recent statuses. You see what the status was, the previous status report, right? As you go week by week, or in this case bi-weekly, as you go cadence reporting statuses, you can see how you move from previous status to this status. So kind of linking our story, right? Linking what happened with the status report and making it easier to understand, and then say maybe something got wrong with the scope, schedule is okay, resources at risk, and then quality is still okay. So I have now this status, and I can go on and on and on. I think this is very, very valuable when you get to status report on the project and make it a story. Finally, dependencies. I think we're running out of time, but I promised to do this. So I'm going to say we're going to create a dependency. So dependency title, this is a webcast dependency by Alex. And so we are going to be, from and to, right? Who is driver and who is driven? So let's just say we're going to impact. So we're going to be impact, which is our project here, from to, right? So we're going to be impacting some other project. Let's just say booster station A would be the one who is going to be impacted. Maybe the same resource or the same equipment is used on both projects, and we cannot use one piece of equipment on both at the same time. So we're going to have that dependency in here and save and close. So now we're going to set up these dependencies and have it here. I think what we can also do in this we can, for some reason I cannot edit the date, but you can also have dates and have a due dates, right? So here you can see that this initiative enables this other project. So we need to we're driving somebody else's project initiative, and that's how we link the two. That becomes part of our, Power BI reporting data set, and we can report on that with
Uh,
those due dates combined.
Alex, another quick question. Why we didn't address it? The ribbon on top of the process, right? Is that a gated process, and does that include notifications?
Yeah, so that includes full-blown configuration and customization. You can have reasonable, customizable, configurable email notifications when you go from stage to stage. Let me just show you some of the options. You can make some of the things mandatory to have in order to move to the next stage. You can even have additional branch of that workflow to pop up based on certain conditions, right? So there's very much flexible governance part that included here, and you can have all kinds of notifications. You can have all kinds of approval cycles, and that's part of the system.
We have one more question in Q&A. Once the data points are entered into the system, will it generate a business case?
So, so we had this specific picture here that you're looking at, right? Once you enter everything, you can have a report or a different tab. They call it the business case, where you have things would be laid out, and you can collect things like, business justification, more expanded, more extended, content that you would need for the business case. It's not part of this demo here, but we have customers where they would have more extended information to be collected, and then they would put it in a separate tabs. Sometimes they just use a tab and then print out, see the content of the business case, and sometimes they just use the notifications to say, hey, I want this record to be sent over through the email to people with powers that be, that they need to approve the business case.
Yeah.
And sometimes this business case, right, is where is the approval point, approval gateway, when the right people needs to approve.
Just from a time check perspective, we are out of time, but we're going to continue this series because this is a very powerful platform. We didn't even touch upon the timesheets, the resource planning tools, the OKRs, and other features, and certainly, Power Hub reporting, what if analysis. So there's much more to come here, and we're going to try to break it up into various sessions going forward.
We're gonna wrap it up right now. We're probably gonna do the series 2, the continuation of this. We have gone through basics basically, but there's a lot to cover. If you can see, there's resources and roadmaps and OKRs. Very interesting pieces about the product management, the Kanban and managing epics and things like that. And everything related to timesheets and having it baked into the teams as well. So again, thanks everybody. Any more questions do we have?
No, I think we're all clear at the moment. And if you do have any more questions, I did leave my contact information in chat. Please reach out, and we can always set up a personalized demo based on your specific use case.
All right. Yeah. Again, thanks everybody for stopping by live here. Thanks for those who are gonna watch this on YouTube. Again, we appreciate everyone's attention. We're happy to help with any questions that may come up during this demo, and we'll see you soon.